Hey there YouTube, it's Dan Strong with Excel VBA is Fun. Today we're going to talk about sorting dynamically using VBA. In a combo box, in a list box, whatever. In this case we're going to use a list box on a user form. I'm going to go ahead and name this range. I'm just going to call it my_list. Keep it simple right now. You could do this dynamically, but I'm not going to. And let's make all that centered. No, we won't. Don't like it. I don't know what. Anyway, so these are our things, my list. Alt F11 to get into the Visual Basic editor. I'm going to add a user form to this workbook here. This workbook will be available for download. Let's go ahead and put a Combobox. To download it, just go to my Dropbox link in the video description. But here's our Combobox. Let's name it CMB list. So it's just our simple list. We have 5, 7, 89, 6, 5, 12, and 3 in our list. And let's make a user form initialize macro. User form initialize. And that is the thing that runs whenever your user form is opening. So let's just do something simple. We're going to fill the combo box. So for each cell in this workbook.sheet, sheet 1 dot range, and that range was called my_list. And so for each cell, we want to me.cmblist.add item. And what item do we want to add? The one that the variable CELL takes on. That's what we want to add to our list. And then go to the next one, the next cell essentially in that list. So here's what happens whenever the user form loads. It's loaded all these, but hey, they're all discombobulated. We want it to take, let's say we click a button or whatever, we want to sort this list automatically, or even on initialize. After it's gotten that far, then it goes ahead and sorts it. So let's see how we can do that. Let's toy around with some prospects here. So let's go ahead and put a button that we can use at first, and we can maybe release from the button later. Click me. Okay. So and we'll call this button sort, btn sort. Whenever you double click on that button, here's the click event here. So here's what we got. We have a list. In each combo box, each list box, everything has a .list property because it has a list assigned to it. So let's go ahead and get that list. We're going to get the low and the high, the L bound and the U bound of that, and we're going to loop through each one. And we're going to say, hey, is this last one bigger or smaller? So let's hop to it. For X equals L bound of me.cmb list to U bound to the upper boundary of the same me.cmb list. So we have the lower and the higher. And of course later we'll need a next X, so let's get that out of the way. Now what do we want to do when we found each and every one? We want to compare it, and actually eventually want to increment. So we want to start with the very first one on the list and go all the way through, and then you want to go to the next one. So we need to increment. Really, I guess this needs to not be the lower bound. It needs to be, let me think here. Okay, we need to increment that by 1 each time. So here's what we need to do. We need to do another for loop, but this time we're going to say for y equals this number x, all the way to the same thing here, the upper boundary of me.cmbList.list, and next y. So what we're doing is we're going 1, 2, 3, but for each one, so the very first thing in the list is x, and then we're saying y is going to be equal to whatever x is to the very end. So that means at the very beginning it would be, let's say x is 1 or something. So y is 1 all the way to the end. Let's say it's 20. Okay, so y is equal to 1 to 20. Then the next time you go through, it says x is going to be, let's say x is 2. And on the surface it's 2 no, excuse me. Then it's going to be 2, so y is equal to 2 all the way to 20. And if that one is less than the last one, then it'll add that item to the list, and at the very end we can punch that all back into the combo box. And I did not invent this. So most of the stuff out there, nobody can take credit for that. I mean, this is something that I've seen done, and I just kind of have taken bits and pieces from it. So anyway, you can download this workbook and play around with it and adapt it to whatever you need. I'm going to hop to it. So if, let's see here. Okay, if what we need to do is use a with. We want to use with me.cmbList dot. No, me.cmbList is good, and then at the end, at this part, we'll say end with. That way, we don't have to keep retyping all this crap. So I just hit tab to kind of indent all this stuff here within the with and end with statement. What that allows me to do is not have to retype me.cmbList, like right here. I can take it out because this makes it automatically typed in. That's a little easier. Okay, so we're going to say if dot list open parentheses, we're going to use y comma 1 because there's only one column. If that is if it's less than dot list of x comma 1, then let's just use blah as our variable. Blah equals dot list y comma 1, and so we've trapped it in the variable. Let's see here. Dot list y comma 1 equals dot list x comma 1 dot list x comma 1 takes on the value of whatever our variable has trapped, and end if. This needs to be list, not line count. There we go. Let's see what that does. And at some point we're going to need to, I guess, add to the me.cmblist.add item, and that would be whatever is blah or whatever x comma 1 is. Same thing, I guess. Let's see what happens there. F8. Oh well. Let's just trap it whenever we click the button then. Right now we got this. And really, we probably, whenever we want to sort it, we need to do at the very beginning with me.cmblist.clear, and that will clear out that list so that we can. Well, no, we don't want to clear it yet. We have to get the. Nope, we don't want to clear it. We don't want to clear it yet. Never mind. We can clear it at the end before we plop it in, but let's see what's going on. So 0 all the way to 6 is our list. So x will take on 0 at the beginning. Y is going to be 0 in this case to 6 because x is 0. So y is now 0, row 0, and column 1 of the list says it's null, and is also null there. That's interesting. Skip that one. Next one. It's blank. Oh, because we don't want to use column 1, we want to use column 0 of our, because the first one is actually column 0. It's just a thing. There we go. So let's start back over here from 0 to whatever. Okay, there we go. So if 5 is less than 5, it is not less than 5. Now, if 7 is less than 5, no. 89 less than 5, no. 6 less than 5, no. Terrible example. 5 less than 5. 12 is not. It says 12 is less than 5. Okay, we need to convert these to numbers. So, let's say, let's go up here, say on error, resume next, and that will allow us to convert these to numbers. So we need to convert that to a number by adding 0, convert that to a number by adding 0. Let's start over again. On error, resume next. So that plus 0, so 5 is not greater or less than 5, 89 is 6, 5, 12 is not less than 5. Now 3 is less than 5, so it should, yeah, here we go. Blah is equal to the value 3. Okay, now it says that this is 3. This is going to take the value of 5 now. Let's see. Because we're swapping places. It's like 3 goes here and then 5 goes here. And now 3 is, since it's less than that, is at the top of the list. So we're sorting one by one. And then from now on we're going to skip over the very first row because we're going to go to whatever the next x is as the beginning of our next loop. So it makes sense. And then where the 5 was is now going to be 3. Does that make sense? Leave your comments if this doesn't make sense. But now we're able to add that item of 3 to our list. And we may not even need to add that item. Let's take that part off for now, because I think we're swapping it on the live go. So next time around we're going from 1 to 6 instead of from 0 to 6. So we've skipped the one where we shoved the 3. So the next one we're focusing on is the number 7. We're going to say, hey, is anything less than 7 that we can trade places with it, basically? So is 7 less than 7? No. 89 less than 7, well, no, 6, yeah, it is. So this is going to equal 6, and then the 7 is going to be shoved here, and the 6 is going to be shoved here. Anyway, let's see what happens when we hit F5 and just complete the thing. Let's take a look. 3, 5, 5, 6, 7, 12, 89. Oh my, it worked. Check that crap out. So now let's do that with another combo box that's got text in it, and we'll call it a day, okay? Let's copy and paste another one right here. And we'll have another button for that. Let's say copy this, Control C, Control V, paste. Alright. So this is for the sort text. And this is for sort nums. Should work the exact same though, code-wise. So let's double click here. Copy and paste this good stuff to the new button here. Here it is, command button 1, that's good enough. So same deal with me.cmblist. No, we're not going to use cmblist. We're going to say me.combobox1 because I'm too lazy to rename it. So with me.combobox1 and everything else will fall into the line. We need to add some text here. We need to fill the other one with some words. So let's say Dan, Sally, A, B, C, D, E, Z, Y, X, whatever. Jim, and 0, 1, 2, 3, I guess, is a good enough test. Okay, here's our, let's just call this list 2. Select all these, and we're going to call it my_list2. Hit enter. So now we're going to do the same thing. When the user form initializes, we'll fill that up with the other one. So for each cell in my list 2, we're going to take not CMB list, but me.combobox1. I think it is. Yep. Dot add item, add whatever that is in the thing. So let's try this out, and we'll go through this one just a little bit, but I think you saw how this works. So let's hit F5 to open it up. So these are discombobulated, and these are discombobulated. They're not in alphabetical order. So in this case, let's do the sort nums. Let's hit F5. We know that that one worked. These are all sorted now. Still sorted. Great. So sort text. Let's try this. So A, B, C, D, E should be first, then Dan, and etc. So let's click it. Okay. Same deal. We're going from 0 to 5 at first, because that's the contents of the combobox1.list. Okay, now the first one is Dan. We don't want to add 0, I guess, because these are now text. So is Dan greater than Dan? No. Let's see. Sally less than Dan. A, B, C, D, E less than Dan? It sure is. Okay. And then we could do a thing to say if this is numeral, then blah blah, because we have numbers mixed in there, so we may have to mix that. But anyway, this is the gist of it. You'd have to play with it to get it perfect, but basically we're swapping places with Dan, and A, B, C, D, E is now in first place. And now we're going from 3 all the way to the end. So let's hit F5 and just jump to it. Looks like 1, 2, 3 wins somehow magically. It considered that. And then ABC, and then Dan, Jimmy. So that looks good. So we were able to sort that. If you wanted to do it ascending, or would it be descending? Let's see. If you want to go the other way, you may consider saying if it's greater than, the other one, and then it would probably just pop that in the other way around. Let's take a look at that. I don't want to just tell you wrong. Let's click on this. It should let's hit F5. Let's see, ZYX, blah blah blah. So yeah, it just did the reverse order. So that's how you do it, one way or the other. You can have it going one way or the other based on your criteria. So we're going to go ahead and save this workbook. It looks like that's some valuable code to you guys out there. Save it in our Excel VBA shared workbook folder, and we're going to call this workbook sorting Combobox ascending or descending using VBA. This is available for free download by clicking on the Dropbox link in my video description. Thanks for watching, and God bless. I'm going to go to bed.